Yo guys, I am Sam Jones, and in this series I'm going to be firing up some local eats with everything the UK springtime and summertime has to offer. Along the way we're going to meet some familiar faces from the passenger crew, go foraging, find some local swim spots and cook up a massive feast. We're making new connections, cooking in some truly inspiring places, and I hope this sparks something inside you to get in the great outdoors. Nothing complicated, just good food cooked outdoors. So get the fire on, settle in, and grab yourself a cuppa. Smells like wild garlic. I think over here we might have some three-cornered leeks. Look at that. You can tell by these little white flowers. Then let's just give it a smell. It's so potent. It just smells like spring onion, garlic, and it's so damn delicious. So we're gonna pick a few of these just to garnish the dish. I might incorporate them into the butter and then use them fresh on top too. Look at the colors in that bowl. Beautiful. So I think that should be enough. Right, let's make a fire. Okay guys, today we are cooking a miso maple smoky aubergine. So to start off, we are just gonna get these beautiful aubergines in that fire. And we're just gonna pierce a few holes in them so that they don't burst and explode once they're in there. Just releases some moisture and air. And it's absolutely fine to get the aubergines in the embers because we want it to blister and char whilst it cooks. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes to cook these aubergines in a fire. You can also do this in a pan, but we want to get outdoors and we want to build a fire and go back to our caveman ways. So we'll let that do its thing. We'll turn it every 5 or so minutes just to make sure it's cooking evenly. And whilst we do that, I'm going to prepare a charred broccoli and edamame salad. So to start off with the broccoli, we're going to toss it in some olive oil. Best salt you can get, Cornish sea salt. Generous with that. And just get your hands in there. Try and get it as evenly coated as you can. And then come back down to the fire. This is a fish grate. So you cook fish in this usually. We're not cooking fish today, we're cooking vegetables. So I'm going to put the broccoli in here. Let's just lay it in. Try and get some longer stems of broccoli because it'll just be easier to go in. And this is going to go on that fire to char and cook nicely with the aubergine. Got flying chairs, bloody wind. Been battling with it all day. Okay, let's close that up. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look better than fish. Ooh yeah. You smell that. See there, you can see that sort of blistering already. That's what we want. So I'm just, fuck me. Excuse the French. Yeah. So I'm just going to turn those nicely already. The broccoli I'm just going to keep on the edge because it's going to take less time than the aubergine. Oh, that's such a good smell. There's nothing better than cooking on fire in the outdoors. It's charring nicely already. Just going to put that on the edge a bit more. Let's check these aubergines. I actually like to call these eggplants. You can tell I lived in Australia and Canada for a while. See that there? It's charring nicely. Gonna give it the perfect smokiness. So this is actually the same technique as how you cook baba ganoush in the fire, which we might be cooking later in this series, so stay tuned. But you can see they're softening up already. How I tend to tell that it's ready is if the bum of the aubergine is soft, because the top will go soft quicker, but the base needs to be soft too. We're gonna get these off now. Look at that, juice is coming out. lovely and blistered. We're gonna let them cool so we can peel off the skin. Cool. We're now gonna make the maple glaze. I'm gonna attempt to chop garlic in this wind. Probably gonna end up all over the camera. But we got garlic, we got soy sauce, we got butter, maple syrup and miso. I'm gonna start by toasting off some sesame seeds. Right, just roughly chop this garlic. You don't want it too big, you don't want it too small. Gonna get a skillet on the fire. So you've got to use a skillet for this because it takes heat like this really well. Going with a little bit of oil first, let that heat through. We are hot enough. How good's fire? Who needs a kitchen? Okay, going with the garlic. We're having a very fish-themed dinner today because this is called a fish spatula. One of my favourite utensils because it's got a little fish hook at the end which you can flip the fish with. Well, I use it for everything other than fish. So just cook this garlic for a few seconds until it gets aromatic. It's nothing better than the smell of garlic, as we all know. I'm going with about 3 teaspoons of miso. This is going to give it that umami flavour. You just want this to sort of melt down in the butter. So this is going to bring sort of a salty umami taste, which will be balanced out by the maple, the sweetness of the maple and the smokiness of the maple, along with the smokiness of the aubergine. Okay, going with a dash of soy. And a generous amount of maple syrup. It should caramelize and form this really nice glossy glaze. Right, I'm just going to take this off the heat, this on the heat. Right, once that skillet's heated up, just going to toast off these sesame seeds. So if you don't have access to a fire pit at home, obviously you can go out to a beach and make a fire pit or out in nature, but you can pretty much do this on barbecues, grills. Like the aubergines do cook in skillets. However you want to cook them, you can cook them, even in oven grills at home. So you can do this anywhere, but I personally think the best way to do it is over a fire because you get that real smoky flavour, the char from all the hot embers from the coal, and there's just no better way than cooking outdoors on a fire. I mean, look at that broccoli. You just don't get that in an oven at home. It's just not quite the same. So these sesame seeds will brown off nicely. Just give that toasty flavour. And then we're going to go back over to the aubergine and peel off the dark blackened skin to release the flesh. And then we're going to get that miso glaze into the flesh and plate it all up. Okay, time to peel off the skin. Just shake off any excess charcoal on there. And all you have to do is peel the skin, chuck it back on the fire to reveal that fleshy goodness on the inside. And this is exactly why I love cooking outdoors. There's no fuss, you can use whatever you've got around you, get your hands dirty, and it's just about having fun with food and getting outside in nature. You'll be surprised at how good it actually feels to get out of the kitchen. Cool, just wrap them up to keep the heat in whilst we finish the broccoli. Okay, so just open up your fish grate. Also, if you don't have a fish grate and you have a grill over your barbecue, you can also do it like that. So in here, we've got edamame, which is a protein-packed soybean. And you're just gonna get the broccoli in there with that, season it with a little bit more salt, and squeeze a bit of lime in there for freshness. A little glug of sesame oil in with the salad, just a little bit. And then some of the 3-cornered leeks we picked earlier, which are here, these beautiful things. I'm gonna actually just chop the white bits and just toss them in and use these for garnish because they look pretty. So add them in with the salad. Just gonna roughly tear in some coriander. Is there a chili in there? Yes! Give that a rough chop. We're going all in, seeds in and everything. Give that a toss. Cool, we're ready to plate. Bring these little babies. All right, we're gonna start by plating up beautiful charred broccoli salad. Just get that on the side there. Go on with some edamame. My little baby aubergines tucked in bed. So get them onto the chopping board. You want to keep the head on just to keep the structure. And then we're going to slice down the middle, open up the flesh, and then just roughly score flesh. So another thing I like to do with it at this stage is that can act as an aubergine schnitzel. So you can put it in a batter into flour and deep fry it, and you got yourself the best schnitzel. And I do that a lot with my dishes. I do like a katsu aubergine schnitzel or a schnitzel sandwich or burger or... So, God, I can smell how smoky this is. So plate that up. Get the miso maple glaze. You don't need to put a lot of this on because it's quite salty and umami, and we want to get that smokiness from the aubergine. Finish it off with a few chilies for heat. I'm going to put them all over the edamame. Toasted sesame seeds on top. A few of these pretty flowers we picked earlier just to finish it off. And Bob's your uncle. Sweet, let's give this a try. Super soft aubergine, freshness from the edamame and broccoli salad. That aubergine is insanely good. That is really delicious. Got the sweetness, smokiness, the umami from the miso, fresh pop from the edamame, and the charred broccoli just ties it all together. Delicious. That's really good.